Michael, what do you feel went wrong in the second half there?
Yeah, unfortunately, during a moment or let's say a time period where we needed to do the things that we do on a regular basis to a T, both defensively and offensively. Um, there was a few things that happened. They hit the crossbar of the post, and we, for whatever reason, the boys kind of decided to try to do everything on their own and go away from kind of the plan. And unfortunately, you know, it happens. It's going to happen across the course of the season. But when things aren't going our way, we almost need to reset and just go back to the tactics. And unfortunately, it didn't really happen. And I think we just got a little bit, let's say, caught doing kind of things that we don't normally do. And unfortunately, they were able to maintain possession of the ball in our half, and we were a little bit scattered, and it just got away from us.
What does resetting to the tactics look like for you, especially considering Portland is here next week?
Just doing the things that we do every day, the stuff that we practice, Tuesday to Friday, keeping our defensive shape, being in the right positions, all those things. Just what I mean by resetting is just going back to the simple things, the things that we should be doing, not trying to do a little bit extra because things aren't going our way or trying to do it on our own. And I know it's tough being a player and doing in a game like that when you're under the pin a little bit, but that's where we really just need to go back and do the simple things right.
Michael, the way the team started looked a bit sluggish. I mean, and then you grew into the second half and then got the lead. What can you account for sort of the start to the game that you guys had?
Honestly, it was very similar to Charlotte, the way that we started the game. We weren't aggressive enough in our press, and we wanted to be clear with them that when we had the opportunities to go and really be aggressive in the press, that they could, that they didn't have the kind of the chains or shackles on them to not be able to do that. And once we were able to get our wingbacks a little bit higher, especially with Javane and on the right hand side, and press a little bit higher, that's when we started to grow into the game more. And you saw us winning the ball with the midfielders and getting Galdi in the pockets and those types of things. So, for whatever reason, it's very similar to Charlotte. The first 15 minutes, we just looked a little bit on the back foot, and we were able to change that, around the 15-minute mark, and things got better. But, unfortunately, it just unraveled in the second half.
Michael, it seems like so far at the beginning of this season, your team has switched in terms of their form of away and home, doing quite well away from home, but at home, the draw and the loss. Do you think that the venue plays on your players' minds at all when they're going out there and playing, or is it more of just a game-by-game case?
It's hard to say for sure. I can't really put my finger on it, to be honest. We're generally a team that's always very good at home, and the fans support us, and we love playing in this building. But for whatever reason, it's very early in the season, 2 games away, 2 games at home, and the results have, like you said, gone kind of the opposite way that maybe we would have expected in the past. But I wouldn't blame that to anything to do with the building or anything like that. I think it's just a case-by-case basis where, like you said, game by game, we just haven't been able to grow into this one or the Charlotte game to get 3 points or even a point tonight.
And can you talk a little bit about the impact that Ali Ahmed had off the bench? Obviously, unfortunate circumstances with Brian White's injury, and hopefully he's all right. But he came on and gave a little bit of that spark that the Whitecaps needed in the second half, albeit it was a little bit of in vain.
Yeah, I thought he came on and offensively did some real good things. He's always going to do that. He's a very dynamic player that, like you said, used the word spark. He gave it a bit of a spark offensively. But unfortunately, like overall, in general, the shape defensively kind of went by the wayside. And we were able to get Ali in some transitional moments and really go past players because he's good at being dynamic and dribbling past guys. So I think he made a great impact offensively. But unfortunately, as a group, we were just a little bit scattered defensively.
Coach, what's the status of Brian White? Can you say anything?
I don't know much except for the fact that we used a concussion sub. He hasn't been diagnosed; he's still being analyzed. I know he had. They said we were able to use a concussion sub, and so that's all I really know. I spoke with him very briefly as he was coming off the field, but no word to say whether he has one or not. It's just more of waiting to see what the medical staff come back with.
How hard is it you brought on Ali Ahmed and you spoke about him, but how hard is it to replace a player like Brian White? Because he is one of a kind almost in the squad.
Yeah, Brian White does so many things that are important to us, and one of the main things is getting pressure on the ball and being that main person that can start us off from the front line. And I think we definitely, what I've just said in the past few minutes, a lot of it came down to the fact that Brian wasn't off the field, and we need to be able to be better when he isn't on the field, because there's going to be times across the season where he's not. But we definitely missed him a little bit, especially I think defensively. It was difficult to get the same type of pressure on the ball.
Thank you.
Coach, how would you describe the first 4 games for you, filling in for Vanny? Obviously, he's going to be back next week, but overall, how has the experience been for you being on the touchline and being in charge?
Yeah, I think I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot. It's difficult, more difficult than it looks. It's always, I've been an assistant coach for however many, 100 and something games in the MLS now, and it's just different when you're the one that has to make the decisions. It becomes a bit more, I use the word a bit more heavy, but I think I've grown in a lot of ways through the experience, and I think it'll help Vanny for the remainder of the season.
What was behind the decision to not have Sam in the squad today? I understand he was going to be on the bench, but then there was a change at the last minute. What happened there?
Yeah, no, I think, if you would have asked me on Wednesday or even Thursday, I would have said that he would have been in the 20. I think we all expected him to be, but, he just had a little bit of soreness in the knee, and we're just kind of making sure that a little thing doesn't turn into a big thing. So I wouldn't say it's anything serious. I'd have to get the medical staff to kind of confirm that, but it's just kind of just being a little bit cautious.
What do you make of the offense tonight? You guys generated just 7 shots. What do you kind of find maybe held you back in your ability to generate chances, generate clear looks?
Yeah, I mean, especially in the first 15, 20 minutes, we seem to be a very direct team. And if we want to have a 2v2 with Brian and Demir against their 2 center backs, we need to be able to make sure that we win the second balls. And once we started to do that, we were able to really grow in the game. But I think we lost a little bit of patience in the build-up. I think a lot of times we played into their hands by passing it back and forth and then going back into Yohei and allowing them to press us, where at times we could have either broken it into going into the number 8 who was in the pocket or going into Pedro from in to out to the wingback. I thought we did a little bit better as the half went on. We could get some information to the guys, but we just looked a little bit off sync at times.
Just one more for me. This game, obviously, because of international duty right now, you didn't have Kubas and Fafa available. Did you feel like the team were missing them a little bit more than you would have thought, especially Kubas in possession in that midfield?
Yeah, you're always going to miss, you're always gonna miss people that are away, and at the end of the day, you guys need to step up, and we've got a good deep squad that can do that. But of course, if you miss guys like Andres and Fafa, it's a little bit more difficult. They both bring different things. Andres is one of the best ball winners in the league. He's good in distribution, and Fafa is very dynamic up front. So, of course, you're going to miss them if they're not there. But, at the end of the day, we're very confident in the group we have and the depth we have. And, if and when they're away again, guys just need to step up and do the best that they can to fill in for their roles.
Thank you.
Thank you.